All shoveled out, Kathy? You're muted.
Yes, finally, Bob was working this afternoon and a young man walking helped him.
Was frozen on there pretty good.
Oh, yeah, a lot, especially the north side of the car. But last night, during the Super Bowl, I noticed some lights flashing in my neighbor's windows, and they're not there. So I got up and I walked over to the north side window, and I thought, somebody's shooting off fireworks. Oh no, it was a line sparking.
Oh,
So I called 911 and they sent a fire truck and they took care of whatever it was at that point. And then at about 2:20 this morning, they came out and replaced something. And one of the reasons I know is because our power went off, but my generator went on.
it's a great game though, huh?
That was a
Well,
great
it's-
game.
That was a lot of
Except
fun.
we were kind of for Kansas City.
What?
Well,
Well,
my husband graduated from high school in Kansas City. He grew
Oh.
up there. So,
Yeah, but the older I get, the more I vote for the old guys.
oh,
uh,
I know how that is. I'm old. But this guy that helped Bob this afternoon, his parents live over on Wimbledon. And he's just bought a house on Wimbledon near them to somehow, he's going to rehab it or something. It was so nice of him.
yeah, that was.
'Cause we missed a
hired
doc,
one. It was too frozen for me.
we missed a doctor's appointment this morning,
Hmm.
and we've got a dental appointment tomorrow, so it had to get done.
Anybody gets a shot yet? Sandy, have you got a shot yet or anything? Nothing? Kathy, nothing?
No, I don't even think that we can book them yet.
My mother got hers and my mother-in-law got hers. And
Yeah,
my
'cause
daughter,
they-
who's a cop, got hers, but nobody
The
else
fir-
I know has got one.
Yeah, the first question they ask you is on eligibility, so.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
eligible. I'm 75
Right.
and Bob's 81.
So, yeah.
So you can go online and find something, but
Oh, no, you can't. But tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you can go online and they're going to have for Wednesday a Melody Tent drive-through again.
okay.
So I'm going to try for that. They're going to have 1,300 shots available.
Hmm.
But I've tried Stop and Shop, CVS, and Walgreens. I couldn't get any of them. Now, my son in California, who's only 53, already has had both of his.
Hmm.
Wow. So do
But
we know
his-
Pat's coming on today? I can open the meeting up, but we're.
She's good.
There she is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I got stepped on. Someone from community services, community housing took over my Zoom license and is running their own meeting on the same
Oh.
Zoom line. Luckily, I had it saved on my phone so I could jump in. Whew,
Ah,
that was scary. I'm like, they're all sitting there.
All
Not
right,
good.
I think we can call the meeting to order because we do have a quorum. We're still missing a few people, but I didn't hear from Judy or Will. But maybe they'll be on any minute.
Give me a second to open up the letter.
Alrighty.
What are they? Thank you for your patience. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A, subsection 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing a limitation on the number of people that may gather in one location, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. Specific information such as instructions and guidelines for remote by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.yarmouth.ma.us. The public portion of this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch and participate in the meeting may do so by live streaming on Yarmouth's YouTube channel located at the link published on the agenda page. Thank you.
All right, so I'll take a motion.
Motion to open meeting. Remotely.
Second,
All in favor? All right, Kathy,
aye.
Sandy, aye. Bob,
Aye.
Lindsay.
Aye.
Judy
Aye.
and Kurt.
aye.
Okay, vote is unanimous. All right, so we're here tonight to review the rankings. Everybody was sent the spreadsheet. I have a couple questions, and I'm sure you all do, but I was just curious on, Pat, why well, maybe it was the ranking, the PD furniture, which we rated an A, ended up down under things that we rated a B. And it could just be how people felt on that particular item.
I decided that people would be curious to see how others voted, though I didn't think I wanted to tell everybody whose vote was which.
No, that's
So
fine.
you'll see on the columns that everyone's votes were documented, but the initials up top that represented who it was that was voting in that line was eliminated. That way you could see I didn't mess with numbers. Everyone can find their own. And if you want to discuss that and people want to come then discuss what one was theirs, that's fine. But I didn't think it was my place to do that.
Well, I guess I'm curious on what we're presenting to the board, and maybe that'll be my first question. I know we've ranked these, and depending on how much money they have, I think the board needs to see our ranking as far as the running total is concerned. Just in case they don't have any money, but are we still going to present the our original recommendations, or are we coming up with a whole new proposal?
Sandy,
Yes.
I think before we can do that, do we have any new information about the schools from last week?
That's an Ed question. I thought they were just going to hear on Cape Cod Check.
I can help. Oh, Sandy, you're correct. We did hear about Cape Cod Tech. That puts us $440,000 over the levy, and we have to figure out a way to cover that. And had some preliminary discussions with the DY school district, and I should have some better numbers. They're using over $2 million in federal money that the Betsy DeVos released right before the Trump administration moved on. So they have some money to help out. Cape Tech put in $400,000 worth of free cash or their excess and deficiency, and that held the number down. Our school population went up dramatically for Cape Tech. So, yeah, we're going to be looking to balance the budget somehow.
All right, so I go back to my first question. I mean, I think it's up to administration to do the balancing of the budget and looking at our recommendations and fund what they can possibly fund out of capital. But when we do our presentation, Pat, are we going to do the same dog and pony show we did, or are we just going to give them a memo with our final rankings?
Well, having not been a part of last year's, I'm not sure how you did it last year when we did reduce it. Ed, did you want to jump in there? I see your square is lighting up.
Well, we just did the same dog and pony show. They reduced it.
Well, I think what Ed was
I
giving
believe
you. Go ahead, Ed.
You have to at least reduce it by $250,000. We don't have that much in free cash.
Right, and I thought we made that decision with this, and I noticed some people did rank the sidewalks. I thought we had made the decision to hold on the sidewalks.
However you would like to do it.
I think that is the part of the discussion today for the group to come to. If you look at the rankings on the sidewalks across the board, I know that I think Kathy went only to the A's, correct, Kathy, and only to those under capital
Yes.
budget. That's why I was
And
asking.
capital budget.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I just did the A's too. I didn't-
So if you look at that ranking and you have that, I'm sorry, because I got hijacked, I don't have it because it was loaded up in here. Judy, I made you a host or co-host. Do you think you could share your sheet? Or Ed, I don't know, Ed, I can make you one too.
Judy,
She's muted. Judy, you're muted.
I just realized that. So a lot of people would like to mute me. So there's one vote on sidewalks for 6, but everybody else voted 23 and above. So I think there was kind of general, at least consensus on the sidewalks being taken off.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion for that. To hold on the sidewalks.
I'd move holding the sidewalks.
I second.
All right, all in favor. Kathy,
Aye.
Sandy, aye. Bob,
Aye.
Lindsay,
Aye.
Judy,
I
and Kurt.
Aye.
Do you still want me to share this screen on this, or does everyone have it?
I have it.
I have it.
Is it easier for you just to do it from yourself? All right, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
All right, so, I think that the roadways and the stormwater, I'm not really sure those should be in the list with the levy items. I know they're not levy items anymore, they're free cash items, and so are these. But I'm not really sure. It makes the running total look really large. And if, I really think they're gonna pull those out anyways myself, but what does anyone else think of that? Or are we gonna do a list from free cash and then the rest of the document that we had before showed like the fire department, the water department? So we would just
I think
redo
if,
our spreadsheet and do free cash listing ranked by running total and then add in the other funding sources.
I don't think there's going to be a free cash source. I think what Ed's saying is based on what he has, we've got $1.25 million to spend. And when we put together our thinking, your first capital improvement plan request pulled out important things like roadways and some of the other work because you felt you had that secondary set of funding. Now, all three categories are just free cash, and that's all you're going to have to spend. So in a perfect world where money was available, your first pass, where all the A's were approved, is something important that I think that the board and the finance committee will want to see. But recognizing that the money situation is not going to turn around and you're not going straight from that, and some things that were in free cash and the other funding source are important, then you can now look at up to your 1.25 million, which would bring you either to the work barge motor or the 4x4 150 crew pickup, which is 1.25988. So that's kind of where, if that was your goal, and I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers on the side. I guess that's a 1.2, that's number 14. So kind of split between 13 and 14 is where you're at from all of your rankings, if this is the money that you're going to be allowed. So your conversation today is, do you want to send your original list? I think knowing your thinking and in a good world, I think you should share that with them, even if it's not how you're doing it now. It's how you wish you could have and you prepared originally. And then secondly, now that you're looking between 13 and 14, are those your priorities? Knowing there's no other funding source, or do you want to have a conversation taking something from 15 down that you want to inject into ahead of one of these other numbers? Do you agree to that?
I have a question on that 1.25 because I don't agree with that, because when I look at Ed's presentation on free cash, the reason we were over 250,000 was just because of the sidewalks. He had allocated 1.5 free cash for routine capital, and he had allocated the road money. He separated out the 2.5%, but that was not part of our previous levy discussion. So
Ed,
can you tell us how much we have for routine capital set aside?
There's nothing set aside for anything at this point in time. It's up to what you all rank. All I did was take a look at how much money we have for free cash, and if everything was put to capital, we were over by $250,000. So
everything of the 1.5 million.
That leaves only $100,000 for any snow and ice overage. And we've been hit by multiple storms this year where we didn't have, hardly any last year. So I would just say that you would take all of your free cash, all of the requests, rank them in order, and you would take the entire amount of what you're asking for ranked in order, including the roadways, including stormwater. Look at the spreadsheets where people already have existing funding versus can we get away with waiting until November or a fall town meeting to really see where we are again in terms of free cash, in terms of the budget. You know, those are some of your options. You could fund the highest priority, take a wait and see, and fund in November. So my advice is to look at everything, the entire amount of capital, not including water, not including fire, but that's what you guys have to work with.
All right.
So Ed, let me start that conversation. You had sent out a list of accounts that still had balances from previous appropriations. And one of them in IT was the PC and Components Annual Replacement Program, which had a request for 55,000. If I remember correctly, when I looked at that list, that account presently without this allocation has a balance of almost 100,000. Is that correct? As you look that up, and sorry to kind of throw that in the middle of it, but that is within our top 15 ranking. And if they already have a balance between now and November, then we don't need to give it to them now. If there's a chance that we can do that in November, so that could be taken away, giving more balance to do other things that we feel are of a higher priority. That's kind of what we're trying to look at, right, Ed?
Yeah, but yes, correct. But look across every department that has requests.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. I'm just trying to give an example. So I guess it was, Ed sent that to us last week of all these outstanding accounts that had balances on them. And you all had that available to you as a reference that came across all the departments: IT, police, DNR, structures and facilities, DPW. So it should give you an idea if there's a corresponding line with present monies that have not been expended and are there to expend. Do they need this allocation or can they wait till November? That's a lot of detail work with lots of different sheets that we didn't probably do in your ranking, did you? You didn't look that way within your ranking because we didn't have to be that particular at this time. And Madam Chairman, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes here. I'll be quiet.
I don't have that document in front of me, so I can't help you with that.
So
Would you like me to email it again to everybody? Would that be
I
helpful?
probably have it in my email, but I'm not looking.
They've only got so many screens, Ed. Can you put it up on this screen? Though I really like seeing everyone. We could give up this screen if you've got that. If you
Sure,
could
I can bring it up right now if you all would like that.
Sure.
Okay.
So we're going to go through each item and change our rankings.
Well, I guess you can see where there are rankings based on what you're looking at.
And there are 5 pages. Let me know if you'd like to scroll forward at all.
It's too small for me to see. I don't know about the rest. of
Sorry,
you.
I'll increase it. Is that better?
No. Is it just me?
No.
No.
I can
Me
see it.
too.
I guess because the folder's
better?
laid out, if you can diminish the folder line on the left, it might kick up your font size a little.
Sandy, I can email this to you right now so you can just pull it up and look on it in another screen if that helps you.
If you give me a minute, I can go look on my other computer and see if I can find it.
This is going to be a long conversation, I guess. I'm thinking if we're going through all the different things, why don't we look at the 14? While you do that, Sandy, can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
So the first one that everyone said almost yes to, or at least 1 through 7, was the taser. And under PD, I don't think there was a specific money for tasers. So do people want to keep that as number 1? The small amount of money, but it's not actually the 21,760. I think the new quote was somewhere up in the 34, 35,000 for 3 years.
I thought we had to do that because we have a contractual obligation there.
Yeah, I do too.
No, they couldn't keep with the 5-year contract, which was the first contract you were presented. So we rebid it to another company that had a 3-year contract, which is legal, and it upped the price, and it actually saved $9,000 or $10,000 from the original price.
Right, so that's what I thought, we had that, are you saying we don't have that as a signed agreement yet? It's just.
That's right. It was a quote, and because we
Oh,
went to the 3, we
Yeah.
don't have to honor the $21,000 quote, but the new quote that is available for us is $35,000
okay,
for only 3 years.
It is a signed agreement. There's an obligation. We have to fund it.
The 21?
The TASER contract, 33,000, whatever it might be. We have
Right.
to, we
I
have
guess
to.
that's the point I'm making it. On our sheet, it's still coming up as 21,600, which was the 5-year contract. So we have to honor it, but it's not 21,000 anymore. It's a $33,000 contract. So that would change the amount in the first line. In the running total, that would then become a $33,000 line. Okay. So we do that. Now the cruiser replacement program is your second line. Ed and PD is, we're not obligated to do 4 or 5 cruisers a year at that amount, right?
You can recommend what you feel is appropriate, or the board can.
Exactly. So what is the 179? Does that represent, I didn't ever hear a number of vehicles. Is there a
It was
number of?
4. It's
That's
4
4.
vehicles.
So the question would be, does the committee want to fund all 4 at this point, or do you want to make an adjustment based on the financial issues and other requests at hand?
I'm willing to compromise on that and recommend 2. But, last year they didn't get any money. They were able to replace a couple.
If I remember, the factory was closed for
Yeah.
retooling, so they couldn't even get cars for a while. So wasn't there a point where he actually had money that he hadn't spent? Or is that gone now?
I don't know. I don't have that document.
Well, just so that I know what I'm looking at, Ed, and that I'm not looking at the wrong thing, I'm on page 4, the bottom of page 3 and to the top of page 4 of that document. And that's where police is at. And it shows PD cruisers recurring. And I believe it says 50,418 is in available. Am I reading that right? Or am I confused about what I'm looking at?
I can't move it. Ed's in control. So
No, I know.
He's got to share it. And my other screen has the other list on it, so I'm afraid I can't do that. Ed, are you there?
I am. Can you see it on the screen now or no?
We could just
No,
see
you're-
page 1.
Oh, I moved it. Let me stop sharing and I'll do it again. Are you able to see it in the right spot now?
Yes.
Yes.
And is it bigger? I wonder if
Yes,
it, when I
yes.
was increasing it, didn't.
All right. So
So does
PD,
that mean there's $50,000 that we could say spend towards your cruisers?
Yes, and there's also insurance money because they had some damaged cruisers that are going to be replaced out of insurance proceeds.
do you know how much that is?
I don't. I think it's 2 or 3 of them.
He told us,
my memory was it was 2, but that's just my memory. So it's at least 2.
Yeah. That sounds
Okay.
right. So they have approximately 3 cruisers worth.
he did tell us they replaced 3 with insurance money.
Oh, it was 3.
Okay.
So if 180 is 4 cruisers, that's 45,000 apiece.
44,750.
My calculator brain can't go that many columns, but thank you.
Yeah.
So if we've got 50 plus another 2, so another 90, that gives it 140, and they were asking for 179. Do you want to still give them 2 cruisers and half of that 179, or do you want to give them 1 cruiser to make it up to an even amount based on where we're at? You had said 2, Sandy, right?
I had said
Yeah.
2 because that 50 that's left over, we don't know if that is for equipment. I mean, sometimes they order it and they have to do something.
I thought the new bids, or the new requests had the equipment included.
I think
That
you're
they
right. Didn't we talk about the new cruisers having the upgraded radio so they were ready for?
Yeah, they
lease?
do have the upgraded radio.
So I think they were talking about the cruisers with equipment.
Yeah, that's my memory, that they were all tricked out the way they needed to be.
With the gun holsters and the pretty lights and everything all a part of it. The shotgun holders in the back. So if 179, 180 is 4 cruisers, then 95 is 2, correct?
It's, yeah, 90,000.
90.
Close enough.
Do you want to make that adjustment?
Yeah, I do. How about anyone
Yes.
else?
Yes.
I think so.
All right, so the next one is the school.
Those have been the list for a while. I think we should leave those alone.
Yeah, I do too. We're not in the list, but
The burner and the management system.
Yep.
Yes.
all right, so on HVAC, what kind of money? Let's see what they have. He has $119,000 for HVAC repairs. Oh.
Now, I know that with OSHA, some of the stuff that they're doing is reimbursable through CARES Act. CARES won't do permanent stuff, right, Ed? So if they doing like these air filters that we're putting in and stuff to supplement HVAC, that's being covered by CARES, correct?
Well, since they have $119,000, I think we should maybe change our ranking on this one. He
Sandy,
probably can wait till November if he needs money.
Because that sounds like about 2 years of worth of what he would normally ask for.
Yeah,
Okay.
So maybe make that go away.
where are we
Put it
getting
at the bottom.
119,000? Where's that number?
it's under facilities. It's on page 2 under facilities, the first line item, various HVAC repairs.
Okay,
There are 2 lines, though. I think we got to be careful because one says available, and one says unspent. So maybe it's not spent, but it's committed.
yeah, it says encumbered there on
Yeah.
Right. You can't count the encumbered. So what's the balance from there?
available.
96.9. So $97,000 he still has in the bank, it looks like.
Okay.
Right, you're right, thank you. I was looking at the unspent, whatever that means. So he has 96,000, so I think he can wait till November.
Okay. And the 2 schools you just decided,
Yeah.
the police
I'm
radio
sorry,
system
my-
upgrade.
Pat,
Yep.
if you don't mind, I'm sorry, my phone cut out. Let's make sure we don't cut out any money to replace our phone system. But I talked with Ken Jenks, and he indicated that he's going to try to look at his existing articles and try to put that money towards the ME Small roof repair by doing a transfer this year. Just an FYI on what would be done with the remaining dollars in the articles that are shown here.
Okay. While you were chatting with them, the committee decided to skip both number 3, the burner replacement, and number 5, the energy management system, and push them forward till November.
No, I thought we
No,
decided.
we're
to
gonna
leave
keep
it.
No.
those.
Wait, those are going.
No, you
Now.
said they've been sitting there a while. You didn't think we needed to have them. I'm happy to add them, but that's what, see, Kathy and I heard the same thing.
No, we want to do them because they've been presented several years in a row to us.
Oh, okay.
Let's
My
take,
The one we
apologies.
got rid of is the HVAC.
yeah,
For
Right.
for the town, yeah, for facilities.
Kathy, Sandy, do you want to take a vote on the 2 school projects, just so we're clear?
Well, we can take a vote on the whole list when it's done.
Okay, but like Pat was thinking they weren't included, so then if we.
They are. She's fixing it.
All right, so we are including them.
Got
What
it.
I want to ask Pat too, though, is Pat, as we go along and change these numbers, can you change the running total for us?
I'm trying. That's what I've got my little scratch pad here.
Okay, thank you.
All right, on the radio systems, I know it's the final payment, but they still have a lot of money. They still have, oh no, they only have 19,000 available. So my feeling is we should finish that project.
Isn't that sort of, they have to do this?
Well, I don't think
Because of-
they haven't pulled the switch yet.
But they're seriously considering it. The state.
Yeah, but so how does everyone feel about that? They only have 19,000. The rest is encumbered, so it's committed to somebody under contract or something.
So should we reduce it by the available?
Reduce, give them half of it this year and half of it. And they can come back in November. I don't know what 50,000 would buy them without talking to them.
Well,
What if we
gave them
said
50,
80
They have
or,
19.
81? So the 100 minus the 19,750 that they have available.
That's how I was thinking of it.
So give them 81.
Yeah, see what that does for us.
All right, so the next one is the phone system. I say we leave that alone.
Ed thinks so too.
Hmm.
And then we have the town hall doors. I think that's important.
It is, and it'll save money in the long run on the heating bills and that type of thing.
And for security, that's why we had
Yes.
ranked that an A, because. All right, so PC components, someone mentioned they had money.
Yeah, IT at the bottom.
They have a lot of money. I think we can hold on that one.
Okay.
If anyone disagrees,
Conversation so I can catch up on my longhand math. After the telephones, you're at a running total of 707,621. So I can't put it up here, but you've got a running total now of $700,000, and that was through the telephone. Town hall phone.
Okay.
What about the front doors? Skip it.
No, we're gonna do the doors.
All right, so do the door. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up.
we're gonna skip the PC.
Yeah, the PC had a big balance, I thought too. Oh,
All
God,
right,
that's
the
awful
next one
sweet.
is patrol boat engine.
Boat does no good without an engine.
Didn't Carl say he's having extra trouble this year with the engines because he had pushed it off an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
So between the barge motor and the patrol motor or motors, I believe.
Yeah, I think we should leave that one.
They're not large amounts anyway.
Well, Ed is highlighting an item here, patrol boat engine that has
3,200.
3,200.
So make it 33,000 that we fund. Sounds like every penny is gonna make a world of difference this year. So even if it's leaving him with a balance of $214 or something.
Yeah, Lindsay, I agree with that.
So 31,
33.
33. Got it.
33,000.
Okay. The next item is network. I think they had a lot of money too. Network infrastructure. Oh, they only have 40,000.
And they want 50.
Well, again, if they've got 40,000, we can fund 10. 10 feels better than 50.
Yeah,
So
You want to give them 10?
maybe 10,250. Because he asked for 50,500.
Did you get that, Pat?
10,250.
Yeah. You know, the next one is a truck, and it's the only one he asked for.
Actually, I believe, and I think Robert would support me on this if he was here. He said if he had a choice between the dog truck and the crew pickup and the other truck that was much further down, didn't even, I think it was a V, he would flip them. I think I heard that, but
Well, yeah, well, he told us that, but we already discussed it.
okay,
And
that's all right. I just wanted to bring that up.
Did we,
all right,
did
we're
we,
talking about the DPW truck.
the dump truck.
Oh, the dump truck. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the natural resource truck. My apology. I'm one ahead of you. The 4,000 GVW dump truck.
All right, this is
3,000
the dump truck for
Oh, let's do the
195,000.
dump truck.
But we can't use maintenance. The 144,000 available under vehicle equipment maintenance, that won't, okay. Making
That's
sure.
the only line to repair all of the vehicles in town.
Right.
Okay.
So we don't want to touch that. So
All right.
I find it interesting. They asked for $100,000 a year on that, and here we are, and they have that much money in the bank. Did they not ask for anything this year?
No, it's not on the list.
Okay.
They asked for very little this year.
I would have a tendency for one vehicle at that kind of money to postpone that. It would certainly take the heat off of a lot of other things that could get done.
Yeah, this was really a mess, though. This truck was a mess. I mean, the one they're replacing. It is such a big ticket item, that's all.
Well, your running total at the moment between your first 10 items that you've accepted is $780,871. So you've got about 500 left.
I'd like to keep it in and see how the numbers work with our running total.
I agree.
I agree. All right, next one is the work badge motor. 12,000.
Did we lump the three motors together and want to support those? I know that's what I was thinking. I don't know about anybody else.
Okay,
Because I think, well, obviously that's the cheapest of the motors that he needs. He did say he had a lot of trouble with this year because it had been postponed from previously.
The work engine or the troll boat?
The work
Work barge.
barge.
Yeah, it was a big problem this year.
all right,
Well,
so
we
we're
took,
doing that one.
yep.
I'd like to keep this because to me, it's a safety issue.
Mhm.
Well, that was my thought on the patrol boat engines also, I mean, when they need that boat, they need the boat.
Yeah,
You know, that's important to him as a cruiser is to the police.
Right.
hmm
All right, so the next item is the crew cab pickup. Now, is this the animal transport?
It is. So when Carl sent you his information on the coastal infrastructure, he sent it himself and not to me so that he could do a second ask of prioritizing when he gave you those numbers. And his prioritizing for this list. And if I remember correctly, it said that, you know, the trucks are important, but I thought said that like J44, it was more important than 52, which is the animal control vehicle.
All right. I mean, how much was that one where you don't have the price on here? Was that 50? Where's my list?
52,
It's 59 for the other.
right.
So is everyone in agreement to switch those around?
He's got J36. Is that the crew the dually that he talked about?
36 is animal control. All the 40s are the DNR trucks, but 36 is animal control. That's right.
Yeah, I thought we supported the animal control truck.
You did.
Good.
But then he
Okay.
sent another, if you're looking at these, he said something, it's really important for that other truck. Now, maybe I can't pull it up because I've got my 3 screens already going. But so Sandy, I don't know if you've got that email. I can't get to send unless I lose something else here.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
reading his email.
All right, what did he say?
His priorities were the pickup truck J36, the patrol boat engine, and the barge engine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move up the $59,000.
No. He said it was the animal control truck, which is what we have here for 52, I believe.
47. Well, I see. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Well,
J41.
I think the one that you did approve was animal control.
It was,
Yep, so
Yes.
52 is what can stay.
okay, all right. All right, the next one of the portable safety, and that's a safety issue, not having radios that
The
communicate.
beaches.
Between recreation and the police, and I think that's important.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'm okay with
Yes.
that.
so is there
I am
any
too.
money? That's what we're trying to do now, though, is go back and see if there is any money in that department.
That's natural, that's recreation, right?
yeah, there's usually 36,000 total in tax base expenses for that particular department. And then everything else is paid out of the offset budget. And because we don't have program fees this year, we also, am I still with you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got a kind of a blank screen in front of me. So I know that we paid 2 other salaries out of that line and they were just having enough to pay the salaries. So I'm not sure that there's this 12,000 available for, or what is it? I'll find it here.
22.
22,000 available for the radios, 22,110.
All right.
Well, I agree, it's important. I just want to know if there was if there were a few nickels around.
Yeah, I don't know if Ed's with us. Oh, that's why, because Ed's not with us.
Well,
He's
back-
with us,
Are you seeing the screen now
yeah,
Yes.
for the
Yes.
funds?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to stay with free cash. and not from the program. They can't afford it.
22,110, okay.
All right, so the next one is dredging, and if I remember right, he had 2 dredging lines. One has 68,000, but I thought he told us that that was all committed. And then there's another one for 50,000. We just
I-
gave
I-
50,000 at town meeting.
I believe he said because of time of year restrictions that some of the previous dredging money wasn't able to be spent yet. So I think he was not so committed to dredging money this year.
So
Yes,
you
they
think
pulled
we
the
can-
dredge out because the time frame stopped.
So maybe we can hold on that till fall?
I'll pull his email back up again and see if I can,
Okay. Because he
Find
had
it in
asked for more than that. We gave him this weird number because that's all the money we had. He had asked for more than $54,119.
yeah, he did say he would like to suggest that the 75,000 for waterways dredging be reallocated or held to offset any potential cuts to any of our or other capital priorities.
Can you say that again, please?
Basically, he said he's okay if we don't give him the 75,000 for dredging. He would rather see it put towards some other need if necessary.
Okay, thank you.
So what's your pleasure on this one?
I think if there's unspent money because of they had to stop, the calendar ran out, then what am I looking at? 121.
Yeah, we can hold it
I think
based on
I
his,
think so.
yeah.
68.7 is the number you want to look at. That's what he has.
58.7. Oh, okay.
That's the column we want to be looking at, I believe.
That's the available.
Right.
Okay, I'm good with skipping it then.
All right, so now we are into stormwater. Let's look at that. He has no money. He only has $9,000, so apparently he's right on top of that.
You know, I look at stormwater in another way. If we were to not cut up the road override too badly, you know, I see stormwater hand in hand with a lot of roadway improvements, and maybe we look at how those work together if possible. So let's
Yeah.
say you cut off stormwater money, but it came out of the other money. And I don't know what projects Jeff has in mind to use that money for, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And some of it's compliance and some of it's projects
Yeah.
like culverts and stuff.
Well, it all, yeah, and it actually, by the new rules, it all becomes compliance issues now too. There are a lot of things that used to happen that can't anymore. So I think every project he does, as well as failing infrastructures to meet compliance today.
But does he need the separate line item for stormwater improvements?
I'm curious because he does have $1 million available in the recurring roadway improvement money.
Yeah,
And he does get the money from the state every year. And I don't know what that number is. Usually it's about the same amount of money towards
I
road.
thought he said like
roadway.
900,000.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, remembering that COVID put us behind the 8 ball, there could only be one person at a truck. The plants weren't all open. There were definitely some challenges. Can I also just give you an update? So through dredging, which was your 15th priority that I have here, you were at 1,061,981. So if you're going for a $1.25 million budget, then you have a 200, you have a 100 and, no, yeah, 180,000 left.
Well, I don't know if we're going for a 1.25. We're
All
just,
right, ma'am.
told us
Just
to
giving you
rank-
that heads up.
yeah, he told us to rank everything, and when they get final numbers, then they'll fund what they can afford to fund. I think we need to finish the rankings.
That's fine. Just
Oh.
wanted you to give it, my math got going, so I wanted to give you the amount.
All right,
I would
Okay.
like some money in this stormwater just because I think there's some, it's listed M50, MS4 compliance. So there, the request is compliance related. So I understand what Kurt's saying is whenever there's a road work, then it has to be brought up to compliance, but this might be for things where there is no road work. So I think we need some separate line item here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is they can use the roadway improvements money for stormwater mitigation.
I would think,
And that's,
well, I would think if some of it's part of especially if it's part of a road project, I would think you could.
yeah,
But I do agree with
even
what
if it
Judy
isn't.
just said. Maybe you have a stormwater improvement project that's by itself, but again, I still think it's all part of roadways. So, as much as I hate cutting any money because we need it all, as we all know, but that might be a creative way to get around it for a temporary fix.
I'm all for that if that's an okay way to release the funds. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to hamstring the DPW in dealing with requirements because the money's in the roadway improvements and not in stormwater.
No, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe we get an answer from Jeff just in case, but
Okay,
so let's leave that for now.
okay.
All right, so
I'll email them right now.
okay.
Thank you.
firearm shooting trailer. What bothers me with this is they have a commitment of $400,000. So it's gonna put it off another year.
Yeah, but I understand. I think it's very valid, but I just don't see that that should be a priority this year when we're talking about pennies being valuable. It's not fun to cinch our belt, but I feel like this is a nice to have, not a must have. I don't know. You can vote me most unpopular. I don't care.
Pat, let me ask you what you're doing on the spreadsheet. Are you zeroing things out or are you just moving them down? Is she here with us? You're muted,
sure.
Pat.
You're right, I was, my apology. So I was just putting a line, so I've got a line through HVAC. You didn't want to do anything of that, and number 4. And the other ones I've been skipping pretty much. Dredging, I put a line, and now I'm waiting on stormwater with a question.
All right, but normally when we do our presentation, there's a column saying requested and there's a column saying recommended.
Got it. So I'll be able to do that, but I was doing longhand, so it was more important to give you the running total.
Okay,
But I can put the requested. And then what you're giving is recommended, right? So tasers are 33,000 and that's what was requested. But PD vehicles was 179,000, but you're recommending 90. So I
Right.
did it that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
so I guess we're gonna hold on the fire shoot arms trailer.
I just wanted to chime in. I agree with Lindsay. I also thought the chief made a good pitch for this being an improvement and an asset to our facilities inventory. But I don't think this is the year to do it. I also think we need a little more, I'd like to know a little more about what they expect with rental fee income, but that's another time.
And my
Um,
question would be, is that going to be your fees to collect and go into the general fund, or is that going back to the nonprofit that's giving the 400 of the 500,000?
That's
For
a
the
I
possibility.
understand that
Right,
rental would-
that's a whole other conversation. So I think I would like to propose that we zero this out for this year, echoing Lindsay.
All right,
Okay,
And I would think that if it does generate any revenue, that goes to the town, because the town's gonna be,
pay-
and
pay for
end
the-
up with the responsibility to take care of it, I think.
I
and
think
pay
that,
utilities.
You're correct. You're correct.
Thank you.
That's town revenue, not nonprofits.
All right, so the next one's the Celebrate Tech. I mean, I think, didn't he say that he was getting this information from another source and now he can't do that anymore?
Yeah, I think this is also important. It was personally ranked higher than the trailer for me, but again, I mean,
Okay,
I think it's safety, but I don't know that this is the year, right? We want to maintain, I don't know.
You know, if you think about some of what they investigate using the cell phone information, you know, it's some pretty disturbing things. So maybe if we can find the money, I'd like to see it stay, but I also understand that being tough for years it is, maybe we do let it go for another year.
well, we're probably not gonna get down this far anyway, so let's leave it for now.
If we can.
I'd like-
Bunker and field rake. That's DPW. Let me look and see what they have.
Oh, in the beginning of this process, when I talked to Jeff about this, this was one I questioned way back at the beginning. And they say they need it. I'm willing to part company with this one.
Yeah, I think we not recommend it this time. All right, then we have a front end loader for 20,000.
It's for the cemeteries.
Well, once again, when DPW request things, the things that I go and look at are usually in horrible shape and have been put together with chewing gum and rubber bands before they request a replacement. So,
This particular machine, I think, didn't we look at it last year down at Chandler Gray?
yeah, well, somewhere.
And I think the main reason that they wanted to replace it is because of the rollover protection that's available in a newer tractor that particular machine doesn't have. I have a sense it probably doesn't have a lot of hours, and it does mostly get stored inside. So it was not, you know, if it's something that I would say is in not bad conditions, that's probably one of them that maybe they get another year out of it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's zero that out. Police station cement pad. Maybe this can, I know they said that it might be an issue with a handicap wheelchair or getting caught in the crack or whatever.
I went over and looked at this pad.
Mhm.
It's not that it's a crack. The whole thing is settled down where it meets the door. And I did talk to Robert Nelson about it. And, you know, there's a way to make a temporary repair if we have to.
Okay.
You know, they could put some leveling concrete down there. And he said, well, you know, it won't, you know how much salt they put, it won't last and yada, yada, yada. But again, if it's just
Cheaper
a
than
temporary,
8,000.
get you another year out of it, you know, I think that could be done.
Okay,
it's all
It's
right for the
also-
libraries.
It's also below our threshold of 10,000.
Yeah, I
Right.
did pick up
That's
on that
true.
too.
all right, so let's zero that out, but if if they can't come to us, they have to go to free cash, and right now we are free cash. All right, the next one is security cameras at Flax Pond.
I think those are important.
I do
Yeah,
I think they're important because it protects against future loss, but right now our town, you know what I mean? I don't know. It doesn't
Well-
feel,
well, is
How-
it loss, protection against loss, or is it a safety issue for
Like
people that are out
damage,
there?
vandalism.
But could it also be someone being
Yeah,
hurt?
and if they can monitor them in the dispatch, I think it's important.
Can-
And
Were
that's,
lights included with this? Does anyone have their book open or near them? Is it just the cameras? Because I think Carl was working with her to put cameras in that would connect to the DNR and have a 24-hour hold on it. So, but I think there's some lighting. There's been problems with lighting between the parking lot at Flax and the lodge. And I think it was the library director or one of the performers at a library function that was being held there tripped because they couldn't see the curbing from the walkway onto the parking lot because there's only one solar light. So they were going to, we've put some higher lights up to give more visibility in the dark, but I didn't know if these were just cameras or there was lights included.
It doesn't say anything about lights.
All right, so it's just the cameras there. I don't know if you're aware of the facility or familiar with it, but there are hurricane shutters that come down across all of the windows and doors, big cranberry hurricane shutters. We
Mhm.
now have 4 that aren't functional, and we actually have plywood doors covering the doors. Horrible look, because the kids ran into them with all of their skateboards and things, and they bent the metal hurricane shutters so that they don't run in their tracks any longer. So that's part of it, because they've been skateboarding all around the building because it has a higher level. And they've been also skateboarding in the new $350,000 pickleball courts. And they're scraping up all the paint finish and the lines. So we've got that at least fenced off and secured. So that's the story behind this. And I'm not giving you any reasoning or trying to encourage you one way or another, but that's why it's there.
Yeah.
okay, so let's
So
leave
what
that
was
for
left
now.
out of that, Pat? Did they put in new lights? I was at that event when that happened.
Yeah, we had our town electrician, Bobby Carlson, put in a couple of spots off the top of the building, which shone out to the parking lot. And they're supposed to be getting a second pillar, like a street light that's solar controlled onto the side of the parking lot closest to the building. Right now, it's on the far side away from the building.
Well, that's good.
All right, so the next item is the roadway improvement.
Well, did you say 0 to Flax?
What are we doing?
No, I thought we were leaving
I
it.
think leaving it.
Okay,
Who
I
paid
just
for the
didn't have anything
camera?
written down.
Who paid for the camera at Sandy Pond?
Carl, I think I saw that the other day and I didn't know where that came from.
Okay.
All right, roadway improvements.
Oh, Kurt, I was expecting to hear from you on this.
You all know how I feel about it, but you do what you need to do. Again,
I think-
I understand how financially things are this year. And I'm not saying don't cut into it, but just, I think, especially at the selectmen level, they need to make it very, very clear about the promises that were made originally and you know, why it would be getting cut into, and I would hope that every effort would be made to reinstate it, because again, I think even though we've done well with the roads, I think moving forward, when we get into water main replacement and sewer piping and everything else, I think there's going to be more of a need for that fund than it has been in the past.
I think we should leave it. And if they want to cut the 2.5%, I think that should be a board decision, not our decision. They made the promises to the people.
Actually, I made the promise. That's why I know about it.
All right, Kurt.
It was my voice. It was our board. It was my voice. How's that?
So I know 3 selectmen that'll say, then it's your responsibility to make the decision. Because Kurt sits with you now.
Yeah, right.
What number are we leaving there?
That's what you're deciding.
The 1.3.
That's gonna kill us. Okay, yeah.
Well, then they can make that cut.
Well, I think this, for me, this exercise is very difficult because we think we know what our goal is, but we don't.
We
Right.
don't.
It keeps
Well,
moving.
that's why
So
the running total means it doesn't mean much because
I know nobody would like my answer, but there's a point where I feel like, say, you know what, let's just not do any capital this year and stop spending so many hours on this the way we feel like we're getting nowhere,
right.
even though we all agree that what we do is very important.
So what is our running total now, Pat?
I'm still waiting for Ed to tell me about stormwater and what he was gonna call Jeff. So I've got no number for stormwater, so I was at 1,062,000 after the dredging.
Right.
Stormwater's a question, and then we added 25,000, so that's 1.116 million. And then nothing for the bunker rake, and then a 15,550, so 1161, you're about at 1,110,000, and then you've got 1,340,000 now for the roadways, so you're at 2.9 million.
It's all right.
Okay, thank you.
We
I'm
don't
still
really-
waiting though, that'll change when
we don't know what
stormwater
it
and whatever comes up with that.
All right, let's go to drinking.
We can
fountain.
always, with
What should I do, Ed?
FinCom, selectmen and town meeting approval, we can transfer the money from roadway to stormwater. Just not there now.
All right.
All right, so either or part of that 1.3 can be shared along with roadways and stormwater? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, especially if you go to 1.3 million, then yeah, definitely that would be shared with stormwater. Stormwater was not a promise by the selectmen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're zeroing out stormwater
Yep,
and recommending 1.3 for roadways.
yep.
And then share it.
All right, drinking fountain upgrades.
Now that was added on because we're doing the plastic water bottle
And
prohibition in town. And so they took a look at all the existing water fountains, knowing if all the convenience and grocery stores can't sell water bottles under a gallon. So that's why this ask came to you.
My question on this, Pat, is do you know what the status is of the water fountains now?
Yeah, I mean,
Still like the old bubblers or what?
bubblers. There are some bubblers. There's a new bubbler up at the 6A Green that was provided by Will's group, the camp, in the name of the people who ran it with Joel Wolflin and the Silvermans. So that's got a new one up there. Sandy Pond doesn't have any bubblers. Flax Pond has one by the playground. Homer Park has one by the basketball courts and one over by the playground. And the beaches don't have any kind of bubblers. And what we were thinking was putting water jug filling bubblers. So not the type that you just drink out of, but the bottle fillers. And there's a bottle filler at Flax as well as the regular bubbler for the people for the pickleball courts. So they were kind of upgrade and try to do these water fillers, especially beach wise.
I think it's really important with everybody's sensitivity, like with COVID and so on, that we go ahead with this. I think to be another source of a problem when people are having so few places that they can go. Anyway. I know I can be outvoted.
No, that's fine. That's good. All right, the next item is the mower. Now, didn't they ask for this mower last year and? we
They
didn't?
used to get two. They used to get two, and then they cut it back to one, and then a couple years ago, you went for every other year.
All right.
And so this is the other year.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is another year. All right, so let's leave that.
Well, I want to speak here since Robert is off to the health department. You know, they do tend to submit them too with very low hours on them. And I just want to throw that in. It needs to be very low priority.
Yeah, and I remember we talked about the hours too, and your average landscaper would put twice as many hours on the same machine.
Mhm.
So, though I don't know, he said they passed them on to highway, but, you know, this, again, being the year that it is this year, this may not be so necessary right now.
I think so. I would be comfortable taking this off, and also knowing that we've got a nice building that's going to be completed and they'll be able to do maintenance in a better way than they used to be able to do, which was a problem when Kurt and I were looking at them. I think Robert might have been there too. You know, just as a casual observer, the maintenance was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, they had the old chain lift that pulled it up so they could take off the blades and sharpen them, and the grinding machine to sharpen the blades was in really poor shape. And you're right, you're gonna have a lot of very new, wonderful equipment to be able to work with in that.
And I don't know if you're highlighting that, Ed, because we can use that $2,000 for anything at parks, or if it has to be for a dump trailer, but I don't know. I think regardless, maybe we table it into November, or
I just highlighted it to show how much they have remaining. This is the only article they have. This could be used, and any of these articles can be closed and reallocated towards other purposes based on a recommendation to fund projects that might not necessarily have other funding for them.
Do they have to go back to town meeting to be reallocated?
No, they have to go before the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee for approval to be reallocated.
Okay.
And they can't be encumbered unless there's a contract signed for that encumbrance. Right, Ed?
Right.
So the department heads can't jump in and say, oh, I think I'll save that 75,000 for the permitting 10-year dredging without a contract to show what it's applicable to. So whatever's left is truly uncommitted. So X mark is 0, so you're at 2.46 million.
All right, so the next one is Peter Homer.
So here's I'll kind of share this one. This is a philosophical thing that you might want to discuss. Very few groups pay to use the softball fields in the town of Yarmouth, especially the senior citizens. It's given to them for free. So the men, at least 1 to 2 men a day, spend 4 to 8 hours maintaining the softball fields, which are used by the Old Timer Softball League for free. And they play 5 to 7 days a week on those fields. So a lot of this equipment, like the bunker rake and things, are from because was a strong feeling within some of the board that seniors shouldn't be charged to recreate, and thus they didn't ask for payment of to use this. So, but at the same time, this group uses the high school and donates $5,000 to $10,000 a year for some kind of maintenance project that the maintenance group asks for, like a wash-off pad for the mowers, or a pallet of materials to put on the field. So this is one of those areas I think we're spending an awful lot of money and not recuperating anything.
yeah, it's like they're answering, they're making a decision for everybody that nobody needs to donate when those people could very well be more than happy to make a donation. They've just basically said no for every senior that plays softball. That's
That's-
pretty dumb.
That's correct. And, you
They
know,
need
it
to cover expenses.
hasn't for years. And if I ever run for office when I retire, they can play this tape and I'll never get in. But I'll tell you, that's what's happened with this group and some other groups, you know, because of the philosophy was if we give our local children's groups free use, then why shouldn't we give our seniors? And so there's been a lot of fee waivers approved by the selectmen that have been sitting there for years that might need to be reevaluated this year.
I would think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
the
the
oth-
year to do it.
Absolutely.
The other way to look at that too, though, is you generate a lot of revenue for the town on these softball tournaments that come in a couple times a year too.
They pay.
Oh,
have
they
to-
do pay.
They pay
Okay.
for the tournament, but what happens is because Dennis, we made him pay for the tournament, but Harwich doesn't make him pay for the tournament because they put 50,000 in to rehab the field over in Harwich. So when the tournament keeps going, like they reserve it from Tuesday to Saturday. So when they get to Friday and they've eliminated half of the teams, they cancel the rest of the time on our fields and go to Harwich because the fields are free.
Uh-huh.
So I
But they
think
are
we
eating
need,
in the restaurants and staying in the motels. So I guess we still get their money either way.
that is true. And we have most heads for beds, you know, most beds for heads here, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, up in Natick or Needham, where I know the directors, even the youth baseball leagues pay for the fields because there's a direct cost for update and upkeep of them. So maybe it's time to start looking at that a little.
So
Mm.
how do we pursue that? Because I get really tired of hearing, oh, we have to keep the cost down for us seniors because
Mm.
there's a lot of senior deep pockets here. And I would rather see us go with fee structures that exist for use of facilities. And then if people have a need, to waive the fees for the people who need a waiver. But they're just, it's a kind of a set phrase that gets over applied.
Well, I'm saying hi to my Jackie. He just came in. So I think Ed might agree with me here that you know, the finance committee could ask for an evaluation of the fees. I don't think that we've had a real look at what fees are charged to what groups for years and how we set our fees in comparison to others. So maybe that's something that they could set up an ad hoc committee just to talk about fees instead of expecting, you know, there's staff that could help support it, but an ad hoc that would look at it and say, compared to Dennis and Barnstable and Harwich, here's where we sit. Because we do that when we look at golf fees.
Yep.
So I think we could do that with, you know, waterways fees and recreational
Beaches.
fees and, pardon me, Linz?
The beaches, like
Yeah,
when they were
beaches.
like, oh, it's a God-given right to live in Yarmouth and go to the beach for free. And I'm like, what? Everybody pays in Dennis and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
think-
shellfish fees, I think is the deal of the year because you can go one time and you pay for your permit in one visit to the shellfish. Sorry, Pat, I know you like the shellfish.
I'm aghast. For 8 weeks in the winter, I have 45 oysters a week that I'm taking out of there and I paid $30 for the entire year. That doesn't count all the bushels of everything else I've taken out of there. I would pay a fairer fee.
Here, because I have another Zoom at 7.
Sorry.
If we could just finish up this list, that
Well,
would be.
can we make a suggestion for them to look at these fees?
Yeah,
Can
Yes,
that
part of-
come as part of our thing?
we'll just get that message to Robert and have him carry the message back to FinCom. But
Yes,
Sandy's right, we need to get.
we need
focused.
to get back on topic.
Okay, so what do we do about the 20,000 that's in the infield renovation? They don't,
Given the fact it's so far down, I don't think it's gonna get funded anyways, but,
So
Well,
just
you know,
leave it.
we've taken away just about everything else they've wanted. I personally,
Give it to them.
again, I think David's been asking for this for a couple of years at least.
Okay.
So maybe we leave it in. If we have to take it out, then then we do, but
all right.
it is
let
one of
someone
our
else be the
aspects
bad guy.
that we
Yeah.
need to take care of.
20,000, you got it.
All right, so we took out the sidewalks, the voting tabulators. I think they probably could wait one more year on that one. That's my opinion.
We will wait one more year. This is not, they're jamming up and all that good stuff. We just have to deal with it because this is not the year to spend a lot of money.
Got
Right.
it.
Thank you.
So that kind of ends your group, does it?
Well, then,
No.
that
Okay.
kind of,
Go ahead.
that kind of ends the group.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The police furniture, the other ones, I guess, that are rated B would be all zero, recommended would be zero, Pat?
Well, I mean, you're at 2.5 million now.
Yeah, but I know, but all the other ones that on the list that you sent out, you have
Yes,
no
the-
dollar numbers.
Yes, and I
So the
think on
dollar
the list,
numbers would go back in and we'd recommend zero.
right.
All right.
That's correct.
Can we have a little discussion on the town hall roof? And how everyone feels about that item that came forward this week that from Jeff that we weren't aware of. Now, he said it can be deferred, but then they're gonna have to not get into this particular round, I guess, of CVAC, but
My understanding too is that number we were given was just a guesstimate by a contractor. It's not a bidding number and they don't know what the condition is of the skylights or the framing that surrounds the skylights and how much work that might involve unless they got into a point where they're really actually ready to price out the job. So I'd be a little bit leery taking that on at the last minute at that kind of money.
okay. All right, so we could
That's
add
just
it,
my
to the
thought.
list, but not recommend it at this point. We need more information.
I think that would probably be best all around considering the volume of work already being handled by DPW.
Oh, and also, didn't we just do roof work over there after the flood?
We did
No, it
attic
wasn't,
work.
it wasn't the roof.
It was
It
the
was the
attic.
insulation
It was
inside the
inside.
building.
Okay, and we didn't do any roof repairs at that point?
No, Bridgewater State got the roof repairs.
That's
Okay.
right.
thank
That's
you.
right.
Okay, so if you can redo the list for us, as far as the preparation for the selectmen, we're gonna have to, when do we have to have that done by?
Well, I sent you that as well. So the Finance Committee has to make their recommendation on the 28th, by the 28th of February. So when looking at what was left for the proposed groups to go before the Board of Selectmen, it was discovered that that wasn't listed on the 23rd, which would be the last Tuesday available for a Selectmen's meeting for FinCom to make that. So Bob went through the charter and looked up a number of points within the town charter of when things should be done. And he's going to get back to us with some clearer dates. But I know that the FinCom recommendations need to be published on the town website as well as in the newspaper, and then need to go to a public hearing that everyone gets to have input on. And so we should anticipate that that will happen sooner than later. And I think the work you did tonight probably will be enough to go forward to give them both of these lists, your original list before tonight and now this updated one. And then they probably will take it from there. Does that sound like the normal process?
So when is the public hearing?
Again, Bob hasn't set the dates yet, Sandy, because he only works Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I brought this to his attention last Wednesday. He did some work on it over the weekend to read the charter and find out what the rules were, and he will be in the first time since I said it to him tomorrow. And tomorrow or Wednesday, he will discuss it with me and then reach out to you, Sandy, and to Brian, the Chair of Finance, and have you all come back with a schedule that's convenient for you
Okay,
within the time frame. There was no date set in the charter for the public hearing. There was no date set in the charter of how many days before town meeting the budget must be published on the website and in the papers. It was just that finance must come before the Board of Selectmen by the 28th of February with their recommended budget. which includes capital.
Okay.
So
So,
if,
so we
with
don't
only 2 days a week, it's hard to get some answers quickly.
well, if they have to come before, by the 28th of February, the 23rd is probably the only date that the selectmen can see them.
And that was the point I was making, and Bob didn't know where I came up with that, so I redirected them to the new charter, which has been updated since he left. And so, and then he reviewed, we have a prospective list of items for each Board of Selectmen meeting through December, and so it's not on there. It's not on the February 23rd. 2 other departments are there to discuss their individual budgets with the selectmen, separate from the finances department's, finance committee's presentation. So they might adjust that and take someone off in order to address this issue for finance. And that might be what they have to happen.
This on our budget calendar, though?
Yeah.
Yes, but he
Yeah.
hadn't seen that budget calendar. I sent that to him and he was like, oh, okay.
How did those other departments get on, though? If we,
We didn't even know as departments that we were on the Board of Selectmen's agenda until I asked for a copy of that and then sent it forward to my fellow department heads, because we haven't had a department head meeting for about 6 weeks since the transition was coming through. So there was a lack of communication, which we've now identified, and we're going to scramble so we can meet the expected. I mean, we knew this was going to be quick, right? We knew the last time what we did this was, you know, speed dating capital budget decisions. So
so should we plan to be there the 23rd? I mean. or
I
you-
would do that.
Yeah,
I think, Judy, it's a pencil in, and hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have that confirmation for you and Sandy and everyone here.
Okay.
And Brian might, you know, I don't know if he's going to be ready.
So we won't have to
FinCom is,
dog and pony show, or we'll do.
FinCom is,
Go ahead, Ed.
yeah, FinCom is on the 23rd. It's on their long-range agenda. It's been on there for a couple of weeks. And you guys normally do this with FinCom, or have done it in the past with FinCom.
Do we have to do a PowerPoint?
You can do it any way you like. You can just give them the materials and go over it with them. It would be in the packet if you wanted to give them a list, or however you'd like to communicate what your recommendations are.
so Sandy, you're asking the work that we did tonight, how do we present that, right?
We present that to them, but I know I can give them a list and we can go over it, but does it have to be in PowerPoint form, or can we just?
Give them a spreadsheet.
Well, the thing you should remember is that this is a public budget hearing, and so if it is in a PowerPoint form, I think it would be easier for the public to follow along, whether they watch it live or watch it after it's recorded.
Okay, so we need to update, we'll update our PowerPoint that we did before.
Sandy, would you like me to take a stab at that?
Sure, but I think some of the stuff, yeah, if you could take a stab at it and just,
I'll look over it and see what's applicable and then give it to you so it'll be easier to modify.
okay. Should we meet again next week? On the 15th? On the 15th?
Can't do that, guys. I'm sorry. It's school vacation week. I'm all up in some kid stuff. Sorry.
And will be as well, I'm sure.
Is the 15th a holiday?
Yes, it's
It
President's
is
Day.
President's Day.
All right, how about the 16th? Oh, you don't want to do school vacation at all?
I can't say if we're gonna try to go do some form of fun with my kids, and I don't know what that means, so I can't commit. You can certainly,
Or maybe Judy and Pat and I can meet and go over and see if we can come up with a PowerPoint, because if we have to do it on the 23rd and get it to the FinCom, that's the week we got to get it to the FinCom.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Pat, are you gone? for school
No, I'm
vacation?
going the following week. I'm
Okay,
gone the week you're going to the selectmen. It
That's
was
okay.
very well planned, honestly. It
Yes.
was.
So Judy, are you available on the 16th?
Yeah, I'm just clutching around for my phone. What day of the week is that?
That's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
rather than meeting on the holiday.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that
Ed,
one.
there's a selectmen's meeting, right, Ed?
When was that? I'm sorry?
Tuesday, the 16th?
The 16th is the selectmen meeting, yes.
I have to be at that. Can we do it another time during the day,
You-
ladies?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about doing it during the day, which, might be easier, and we won't keep everyone here. We can
Yeah.
discuss it
Okay.
tomorrow, okay? And
Okay.
then hopefully I can get it done to pay and get it out. You could all take a look at it. And then we'll have it in plenty of time.
okay, sounds good.
I'll make it a priority.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks, that means I
I can-
can't do the minutes. Sorry.
That's all right. Once I see it, I can do a memo to go with it.
Is that all for tonight? Your agenda is also what?
That's all for tonight.
There's no minutes. And so we'll meet again. We won't meet again.
Till the
Okay.
23rd.
Yep, potential 23rd, but that's with the selectmen. That's a Tuesday night, not a Monday night, and that's not me to set up the PowerPoint, the Zoom meeting. That's for them.
I just want to warn you, if the weather is really bad with my bad eye, I may not be driving at night.
That's
I'll
okay.
try to be there, but
No, that's okay.
Well,
I have trouble
it
seeing
is a
it.
Zoom meeting, and we could invite you into the Zoom meeting as a participant.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, now the other thing though on the 23rd is sometimes we have listed those as meetings just in case we wanted to put our heads together before the selectmen's meeting. We did a posted meeting. So let's just keep that in the wings when the three of us convene next week to see if we need.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're right. I think I have to, Judy, because you're all going to be together, so it's considered a meeting.
But sometimes we meet an hour early.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, but we can talk about that next week and let everybody know.
Right,
Okay.
okay, so
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Little discussion real quick. Pat,
Robert,
Well, you missed the meeting.
Hey, Robert.
will you do me one favor, Pat, and send me a quick summary of the votes so that I can have them for FinCom on Wednesday in case
Sure.
people ask me?
we kept a running list of what to fund and what not, so I'm going to work on that on the
Thank you.
morning with the PowerPoint, okay?
Because Wednesday we have a FinCom and,
I'm going to be there. I
oh,
got
okay,
it.
good. Thank you.
You
okay,
got it.
Robert, we
Right.
also came up with a message for you to deliver back to FinCom, which is we would like FinCom to examine fees for parks and facility use by other entities, whether they're in town or out of town.
Was that expanded beyond parks and cemeteries to all of community services fees? So senior services and libraries and all of that as well? Golf?
Beaches, show
Yes.
licensing, yeah, for sure.
There you go. Global usage fees.
Yes.
No, I get it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, everyone, thank you. Can we take a roll call vote? Kathy,
Yes.
Sandy, aye. Judy,
Aye.
Lindsay,
I
Bob,
Night.
Kurt,
Okay.
We have to.
and I'm not sure who the other person that dialed in is.
Was just Ed, I think.
Yeah, Ed dials it and has a computer. Ed,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you
fine.
again for being here with all those great answers. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank-
yeah.
thank you, Pat, for everything too.
All
Oh,
right,
you've been wonderful.
all right. Have
Got
a-
night.
better as we went on.
everyone.
Everybody be safe out there. Take care.
You too.
Night,
Yeah.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ed.
Where's my?
So, Mr. Edward,
Hi, Pat.
that wasn't too bad. Did you get what you needed out of that?
Sure. I didn't see